Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel. For my last product unboxing of the night, I just got in a copy of Aeon's End, The Descent from Indie Boards and Cards. I ordered it from Amazon and got it in on Thursday. So we're going to crack into this box and see what we've got in here. First, let's take a look at the back as before. In the golden days of Gravehold, Brahma thought her city would last forever. But how did humanity find the citadel below the surface? This haven away from the nameless scourge that ravaged the surface of the world. Join Brahma, still young and idealistic, as she attempts to lead a ragtag band of survivors to a city of salvation. What dangers await them on their pilgrimage? And what will they be forced to sacrifice for the sake of their new home? Discover the terrifying origin story of Gravehold itself in Aeon's End, The Descent. And we've got everything here, 1 to 4 players, 14 plus, 60 minutes. So let's crack this open and see what we've got in here. First thing we need to do is take the shrink wrap off. Actually, first thing I need to do is be smarter than the knife so I can actually get the blade out here. That'll give me enough to get into the shrink wrap, it looks like. There we are. Okay. Shrink wrap is off. The shrink wrap can hit the garbage. So now let's crack this open and see what we've got in here. And once again, the box comes off nice and easy. Then we've got what looks like our, I'll thumb through this. This doesn't look like a rule book for Aeon's End, though. I think it's a catalog explaining how the Friends and Foes module works. Ooh, I could add that to existing content, so very nice. Actually, that could be a great way to challenge Nyrissia and Solidia. Narrative booklet, which I'm not going to spoil that for myself. Aeon's End, The Descent. This looks like the main rule book, so I'll give that a thumb through when we're all done. End of Expedition rule book. I'm not going to thumb through that yet. First game setup, but I've played a lot of Aeon's End, so I'm very familiar with this. And how to set up the first game with this. But I've been playing a lot of Aeon's End. Envelope 4, probably part of the expedition. We've got punch board. I don't like that the punch board is just plain like this. I'd like it to be covered. We've got a manifest token, looks like for one of the Magi. More punch board. And the back side of that. Yet another set of punch board. Okay. All of our baggies. All of the cards as usual. I'm not opening the cards. Actually, they're telling me to not open some of these anyway. So I won't be opening those until I'm ready for them, number 1. I can probably put them in like so. Okay, we've got all our decks there. All of our breaches. I'm presuming there should be 4 sets of breaches in there. Both of our dials, one for our abode, the other for the boss. Then we've got what looks to be our foes. Yep, we've got the Swarm, Dolana the Healer, and we've got some of our Magi, along with more envelopes. And it looks like I got a hold of the divider, but there's probably tape from one of the envelopes. There we go. So we've got our envelopes in there, along with the dividers. Looks like we've got envelope 2 and 3. I'm a little bit annoyed that there isn't a 1, but probably no help for that. We've got our dividers. Then we've got our Magi. So a young Brahma with her special ability of gain 4 life. You may suffer 2 damage. If you do, Gravehold gains 4 life, only needs 5 charges. Set up for that. Complexity rating 2. Jaunty, interlace during your main phase. Give the top card of the infusion deck, or gain the top card of the infusion deck and place it in your hand, or destroy an infusion in play. If you do, deal 8 damage. Then we've got Liaison the Huntress. Place the manifest token in your player area, or on your player mat, so it covers this ability and resolve its immediately effects. You can't activate this ability for the rest of the game, so I guess we get to go see what that is all about. Oh, so you can't activate the manifest monstrosity. Okay, immediately gain 4 life up to a max of 14. Reveal the top 3 cards of the ultimate form deck. Add 1 of those cards to your hand and return the rest to your deck, to that deck. Your maximum life is 14. Whenever any player would suffer damage, you suffer it instead. When you have 0 life, don't resolve on exhaust effects. You may still gain life even if you have 0 life. Smash, during the main phase, gain 4 life. Return the card you gain from the ultimate form deck from your discard pile to your hand. If that card was destroyed, return it to your hand. Okay, so that's what that's all about. And then Thraxir the Commander. Activate during any player's warp phase. That player focuses a breach. Then you gain a card from the supply that costs up to twice the focus cost of their opened breach with the highest focus cost. So Jester was saying he was having problems understanding that ability. Or if the player has no closed breaches, deal 8 damage. So the way that seems like it works is on the inside of the breach. And it'll make more sense if I pull out a breach. Looks like I got a 2 breach. So on the back of each breach, and I'll bring it up close so you guys can see once it decides it wants to focus. On the inside, there's a focus cost of that to focus the breach. So the way I'm reading that ability is you gain a card that, so say you've got your 2 breach still open. You choose to focus that breach. You would then be able to gain a card from the supply deck you'd be able to gain up to a 4 from that. At least that's the way I'm interpreting that card, or that ability. Then we've got our first, we've got our first Nemesis the Infector. Presumably that's the one we'll start against in the expedition mode. So we'll put all of these back in the box. And then we'll do a quick thumb through of what we've got all here. All right, I'm thinking this is just a catalog of everything. Okay, yeah, this just looks like it's a catalog of everything, which could also serve as a good checklist to see if you've got everything, so it might be handy in that regard. Okay. No, I didn't realize Past and Future was a... Ooh, I'm going to have to grab that. I didn't realize that was another base game for Aeon's End. And then the expansion's there for the Descent. And now we'll give the rulebook proper a thumb through. I'll zoom this out just a touch. Should be able to put it right about there. And we are familiar with Aeon's End, so we'll be taking a look at the... We'll pay special attention to the sections in yellow. Okay. Ooh, it'll give us rules for how to use at the end of the expedition. We'll get rules for how to use all of the Aeon's End content to play expeditions. Okay. Well, that'll give us some thought. And yep, we are very much familiar with all of this. I'm very much familiar with all of this from Aeon's End. And we've got the treasures. Okay, the curse deck. The Descent includes new curse cards, which were originally introduced in Outcast. In this case, Scorched Pearl was added. Deck of cards that's placed face up near the Nemesis deck. Cards in the Nemesis deck may refer to cards in the Cursed deck. When a player is told to gain a card from the Cursed deck, they search for that specific card and then gain it. The only new curses added in this expansion are 6 copies of Scorched Pearl. Okay. Doesn't seem problematic there. Alright, simultaneous effects. Players decide the order. The elemental tokens seem pretty straightforward. So resolve the token. When you place an elemental token, immediately resolve the effect of each elemental token on it, then discard each token. When you defeat a minion with an elemental token on it, resolve that token. If it's defeated on a turn that's not a player turn, any player resolves the token. Okay, all of those seem pretty straightforward. And again, I'm familiar with all of the actions. Yep. And some new game terms. So when you cause a minion to be discarded, you've defeated it. Have a defeated effect. So what happens when you defeat the minion? As a develop cost, you may pay that cost to move it to the develop zone. If it was already in the develop zone, you can pay the develop cost to gain it. Then we got the elemental tokens and the enemy. Enemies can't have more than their starting life. That is good to know. And of course, everything else that we're already familiar with from the world of Aeon's End. I'm going to throw everything back in the box. Carefully. And the Friends and Foes looks fairly straightforward. So presumably we'll get... And everything looks very familiar looks very similar to what we've seen already with other content in the game. Okay. And that is everything in the box for Aeon's End, The Descent. We've got one more product unboxing I say product unboxing to go through, but it's more of an inventory on the last game that came in from Jester's Delivery. So we'll go through that tomorrow. What else is coming up on the channel? So tomorrow, Mystical Munchies will continue out of the Can You Take the Heat cookbook with the side, JR's Country Cornbread. Sunday, we're continuing the spring campaign in Arkham Horror, the card game, with the second scenario, To the Forbidden Peaks. Wednesday, we're doing a playthrough of Welcome To. We'll do a play-along on that from Blue Cocker Games. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, before I go into my sign-up, if you haven't voted already on the poll for my next sports project, make sure you go and vote for that. The 1985 season recap and reveal show, where I'll reveal what the next project's going to be on the channel, is going to be in a little more than a week. Remember, the more votes a project gets, the more dice it'll roll on the 1985 season recap and reveal show. So if there's something in particular you want to see, make sure you go cast a vote for it so it can roll the most dice possible. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.